that one. Let him use this one, and let's get it going. Is he here by himself?
No.
Who's here? BT?
No.
Is Josh doing cocaine in there? What's going on? It looked like he was bending over. You just do a bump before you came in? Hold on. Let's get him set up. Look, come over here. Sit on the couch. Josh Wolf is at Side Splitters this weekend. That's your son? I'm sorry that I just accused you of doing cocaine in front of your child.
Oh, he does have a powdery substance, though.
Yeah. I'm sure it's not. Hold on. Let's get Josh over there on the microphone before we continue to have a conversation we can't hear. You can sit wherever you want. You both can sit on the couch if you want. This is now. I've heard you talk about your son before. Now, Spanish, will you plug that mic in?
They were supposed to tell you that he was coming.
No, I don't care. I'm fine with it. But last time you were here, you did make reference to your son.
Yeah. My first couple hours of material were all about.
Yes.
By the way, driving up here, dude, it is legit. I'm like, is this the Florida Godfather mansion? Are we about to kill Fredo?
Let me ask you, is that off? Because you've not been in this studio before. You've been on the show before, but not in this studio.
You know what? I was wondering when I pulled up if I had been here before.
I don't think you've been in this studio.
So. Was the last time I was here we had that creepy clown?
Yeah,
that was in the studio.
And I've done, and I'm sure you have too. I've done them. You've obviously done a gazillion interviews.
Yes.
And I have, that one sticks out so vividly.
Good.
Not just because, Jacob, there was a clown who stuck, what was Carmen? Was that her name?
Carmen is back at the station. She can hear you now. Carmen her mic was off. Carmen was in the studio. She's deathly afraid of clowns. And the second It movie had just come out.
Yes.
And one of our engineers dressed up to the T like the clown. And I started talking to Carmen. I roped her into it. I was like, you're doing such a great job. And she was like, oh, thank you. And she totally suckered into it. And then he came in and just like tapped her on the shoulder.
Such a jerk.
Her reaction was so natural. Scared the hell out of her.
Was that but that was not the clown that stuck the foot in the mouth.
Oh, you're thinking flip-flop.
Yeah, dude.
Sorry.
I remember flip-flop.
Flip-flop was the one who stuck the foot in the mouth.
Yeah.
It wasn't even that he stuck your unwashed foot in his mouth without, like, sight unseen. He was like, yeah, I'll do it. It was the noises he made when the foot hit the mouth.
Yeah.
Where I was like, I am uncomfortable and kind of hard at the same time.
I can't believe we had two weird clowns that I got them confused. How old are you?
I'm 26.
26? You look so young. You got your father's young genes.
Yeah,
now,
thank God.
I have no longer of interest in talking to you. I'm going to talk to you something else.
Cool.
Sweet. Real questions for you as a father who has a 17-year-old. When did you know that your dad was like cooler than other dads?
I would probably say around 16 or 17.
You did?
Yeah, 16 or 17, it started to sit in. Well, earlier than that, like when I was a freshman in high school, I went to ask a girl to homecoming, and she said that I didn't do it good enough the first time, so do it again. So he was on his stick at Chelsea at that time. Uh-huh. So I asked him, I was like, yo, ask Chelsea if I can ask her to homecoming on TV.
Oh, my God.
That's pretty good.
That's bad.
She said yes.
Yeah.
So, by the way, I set expectations way too high my freshman year, by the way.
Yeah.
I had 3 more years to go and could never top it, ever.
You go to Chelsea and you say that, and she says yes?
100%, dude. She was so game for stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anything that made her show different and personable and made it more human, she was on board for. But let me tell you something. When he told me that, what a different time we live in. Can you imagine when we were growing up, if a girl was like, you need to ask me in a more grandiose way. I'm like, let me ask your friend then.
Yeah. You want to know something fun about my first prom was in my junior prom. And I had asked this girl that worked at the movie theater with me. She was a year older than me and went to a different school.
By the way, the movie theater was such a great place to work when we were growing up.
Great job. Saw the movies free. You get to eat all the popcorn, see all the people. So my father gave me some of the best fatherly advice he ever gave me. He sat down and he goes, this girl you're taking to the prom, Scaramella. I go, yeah. And he goes, you can't do anything with her. I go, what do you mean? He goes, you can't touch her. You can't get her drunk. You can't. I was like, all right, this is weird. And he's like, I've never been more serious. And I said, why? He goes, Liz Scaramella is the girl. Her father owns Scaramix, the cement company. They're the biggest mobsters on the island. He goes, I'm legit telling you cannot do it.
He wasn't doing it as like a dad, like beyond my 10. He was doing it as in, I would like to see my son.
He did not want me to be buried later on that night, and I appreciated it.
Yeah,
as I am older now, I appreciate it. How old are you when you first started getting tattoos?
18 is when I got my first tattoo.
On your own, or you ask your dad?
This was my going away present for college. So I got one on the inside of my arm done the night before I left for school.
Okay.
And then after that, all the rest are by myself.
I ask because my son, who really is not 17, he'll be 17 next month, has got 8, 9 tattoos
least,
now.
yeah.
I know.
Since he was like 15.
Yeah.
They're addicting.
Is he the only one in his high school with tattoos?
No, because he played football, and there were a couple other football players, like 1 or 2, but he was the first one to have, like, I have a sleeve, so but he started with the pieces. And then he
Did you have to okay what he was going to get?
I had to have a notarized letter, and I had to go down there with him.
Yeah.
Now they just know him and they know me. So
but
I went down there and I said, listen to me. I'm going to tell you guys 2 things. No face tattoos.
Yeah.
None of that stuff anywhere above his neck, and we're good.
Yeah, but my thing was like,
it's a good rule.
My thing was like, look, and I want, because at 15, you make bad decisions, and when you start tattooing yourself,
Don't say that word.
oh, you can't. I forgot. Right.
Just because we're in a garage doesn't mean you're on a podcast.
My fault.
No, you're okay. So that's the thing. So this is what I did when my son was like 8. He loved Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber was like the biggest thing, and he didn't know that if you love Justin Bieber and you're a boy, everybody's gonna make fun of you.
Yeah.
So we even bought him for like Christmas a little Justin Bieber action figure with the stage and all that.
Hilarious.
Right. I have a picture of that. And every time he wants a tattoo, I put it in front of him and I go, before you pick a tattoo, when you were 8, you loved Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
And now you would be horrified for me to show your friends this picture. So you should know that what you love today, you love little Tay-Tay or little Dirk or whatever they are. You will not love that in 5 years. So he's got none of that on him.
Yeah.
All his tattoos are memorable. Like he and I have a matching tattoo of my grandmother's name on her wrist. He has my wife's birth date and Roman numerals on it. I'm like, he suckered us in with the right. I just want to tribute to mom, that kind of stuff.
We had 2 ideas for tattoos that we were going to get together. One was just a matching mole that nobody was going to know was a tattoo.
In a different spot. Yeah,
We were like, you guys should get that looked at. You should get that looked at.
We were going to get a matching mole, and the other one weren't we going to get a tattoo that said "Feet don't fail me now"?
Yeah. Because
I don't know.
Oh, I know why.
Why was that?
Well, I remember I almost lost 3 toes.
Oh,
on my
that's
left
right.
foot.
That's right.
Why?
I was working in TV production, and you know those trucks with the big black lift on the back? They're more like for like furniture. Or
It's
deliveries
2023. You can't say black lift, by the way.
You could say black lift driver.
Yeah.
I know which one you mean.
And so I was back there loading some stuff on the back of the truck, and when the lift had come up and connected to the back of the truck, my foot was over the edge. And so it crushed my 3 toes on my left foot. 3 months later, 22 plus stitches in 2 different toes, 6 hours in the ER.
Ooh.
You know what we found out, though, by the way?
Almost losing my toes 4 weeks in after not losing them the day of. It was a crazy 3 months. But
How are they now?
Great.
They're deformed.
Definitely. Like if you saw me at the beach, you'd be like, oh, he's got all 10 toes. But if you came up close to me, you'd be like, he's got 8.5.
Like my cloudy toenail. From a distance, it looks fine, but you get close, you're like, what's going on?
Exactly.
In that? I got
You know what we found out from the what's the name of a doctor that does the feet?
Podiatrist.
Thank you. We're going to be great on $25,000 pyramid. Is that when we were there, so the big toe and the little toe were fine. It was the middle 3. Oh. And
Which, by the way, best case scenario.
The guy says, he goes, look, worst case scenario, which is possible, he loses all 3 toes. But he said, but don't worry, those are your beach toes. And I was like, what does that mean? Yeah. He goes, the pinky and the big one are the ones you need. The middle ones are they look good at the beach, but they're not functional. I'm like, all three of those toes are considered beach toes.
By the way, he's had that prepared because he's had to tell so many people that.
100%. Yeah. It's a beach toe. It doesn't matter.
100%.
But still, also, you don't want to just be the hook 'em horns dude on your foot.
I mean,
It would be cool in a rock concert.
that's what I'm saying. I had just dropped out of college, reapplying to UT with that as my
Dude, you'd have
picture.
got in for sure.
That's what I'm saying. I would have got the
funny.
full ride. It might have worked out.
You know what's funny, and it sounds like you have a good relationship with your son.
Yes.
This part of my basic tour or my career, this has rejuvenated me, dude.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't realize how lonely I was on the road.
Yeah. That's
But-
when you start doing bad stuff.
To be out on the road with him, and we jump on stage together and we mess around and we do a bunch of our podcasts out here. It has changed the entire trajectory of what I do.
feel like my son would not want to hang out with me, though. Well, you're older. They say you come back.
Yeah. It took a little bit.
Yeah.
Because, when you're 16, 17, 18, you're focused on...
Girls and
Vagina.
weed
Can I say that
and-
word?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
anything
In
that's
that context, you can.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
You can't start talking about creative ways to enjoy that, but
Right.
what you can say is,
Yeah, it really does lure you into podcasts.
Yeah. This show is very comforting.
Yeah.
So you're on the road together.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Now, I don't know. I would imagine you are not with his mother.
I biological mother?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
Not since he was a year and a half.
Oh, okay. So you've been with the same girl?
I've been with my wife, Beth, since 2000 and...
How many years? Don't say the year. How many years?
She
Quick math.
She keeps planning something for next year, and it's a big number on an anniversary date. So subtract
Well, that's how
one.
long we've been married, though. So we'll be married 20 years.
Uh-huh.
And then we've been together since 2001.
She's planning something big for 20?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
My wife and I were married 20 years this year, and we went, oh, cool.
That's not
That's
not
who
my
my
wife.
mom is.
No,
My
no.
mom is she's a big festive party person. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, like any holiday or any type of celebration, whether I was graduating or it was a birthday,
It's
or
extra, dude.
Or my baseball team had just won a tournament, she had a party plan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
She's great.
She does that with gifts for me too. Like she planned them for like 90 days, and I'm like,
Dude, doesn't that piss you off? Because then you're like, I can't compete with this.
yeah.
She would buy me, my wife for Father's Day, just got me this thing. I'm a big Godfather fan, the movie The Godfather, right?
Yeah.
She got me this thing. It's like a diorama almost. And it's the Godfather, it's like the mask on the outside, but inside is a replica of the Godfather's office.
Oh my!
And I
Lord.
go,
That's cool.
where would you even, like, she's going to Etsy. She's getting a one-of-a-kind thing
Yeah,
for me when
yeah,
she gets
yeah.
me. I go, that's what I got.
Did you watch The Offer?
100 times.
I just watched it for the first time.
I watch it every once in a while. I'll just put it on.
Yo, it was so good. And Matthew Good was so at playing Bob Evans.
Yeah. He was great.
Remarkable.
Yeah.
But did he not get any kind of nod for an award for that?
No, and that guy is English.
British.
too.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. He was so good in that movie.
And he usually plays like the good-looking, put-together dude.
Yeah.
He had his cadence perfect.
The cadence, he had what I imagine a young Bob Evans was like.
And so easy that character you play him over the top.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're like, this isn't believable.
Bob Evans was over the top. You have to
But
be.
he was over the top, grounded, which was amazing. And I'll tell you something, man. Like, I don't know how much of it is true to the story. You know,
Right.
they like to be.
So my dad is 70, couple of 73, 72. He was there, like, because they made that house that they had was in Staten Island, which was in my neighborhood where I grew up. So my dad was backing up a lot of these things. So I didn't know I knew the mob stories, but I didn't know the involvement in the movie. So my dad was backing it up with the end. I remember this guy, and then this guy, the commissioner, and all that. And I thought that what's the actor that was the mob guy? I thought he was over the top.
Giovanni Ribisi.
Ribisi. He was a great
Joe
actor.
Colombo.
I thought his Joe Colombo was like over the top. Then I went and watched YouTube videos of Joe Colombo.
Me too.
He nailed that.
Nailed it.
Nailed the voice and everything.
It was amazing. I thought Miles Teller was really
Miles Teller
good.
was great, yeah.
The Offer is basically
The girls were good.
Yeah, his we'll call it secretary, but was so good.
Yeah.
She's in Ted Lasso.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
I'm the only American who hasn't watched that. Okay.
The offer is the story about how this producer got The Godfather made.
Oh.
And then, so my wife and I were then we went back and watched The Godfather right after.
Yeah.
It changed so many things for me.
You know now. You know all the behind the scenes stuff.
That cat scene?
The cat scene.
Blew my mind.
The cats. It's so funny.
And the Luca
because
Brasi with him.
Yeah, reading the lines. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
My wife gets me this thing, and I look inside it, and she goes, "What's the matter?" And I go, "I just thought there'd be a cat in here." And then my buddy came over, who I also know is a Godfather fan. I go, "Hey, look what my wife got me." He looks and goes, "No cat." And she goes, "We're gonna have to get a little cat and glue it to the desk." It just seems like it should be there. I have the same thing. I have watched Godfather 1 and 2 almost 3 times a week. Not all of it, but I'll just put it on.
I think we have the box set on DVD.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen 1 and 2?
I've seen both of them. It's been a minute, but I have seen both of them.
Yeah. There's no reason to see 3, I don't think.
I mean, look, 3 itself is a conclusion. Once you've watched 1 and 2 1,000 times, maybe watch 3. But they're just 2 different movies.
Well, like, I don't know that anybody, here's the thing. I think everybody was clamoring for 2. I don't know if anybody was clamoring for 3.
And for some reason, for 3 would have the story of 3 is great, but it looks like kind of like Jaws after Spielberg left. Like they passed it off to a whole new crew, and all of a sudden George Hamilton's in it. And you're like, what's
Tom
going on?
Spielberg? Who's that?
Yeah, exactly.
Why is he?
This is Josh Wolf, who is here in the studio with us with his son. I'm sorry,
Jacob.
I'm sorry, Jacob Wolf.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, what a good name. What a good name. You're playing sports in high school or whatever you do, and you got a wolf on your jersey? That's awesome.
It wasn't bad. I will say the only bad comparison was I was in middle school right when Twilight was a really big thing. So everybody was like, "Oh, Jacob Wolf, like the movie," and I'm like, "No, like me. Pick something else." Like,
so you got that. You know what I got walking down the hallways? Are you hungry like the wolf? Oh my God.
Side note, though, I just went to see Duran Duran in concert.
How was that?
Recently?
The Wizard over there, yeah. It was fantastic.
Really?
Yes. I didn't think, we were like, we'll go see it. And we were loving it.
Okay, and so I'm so curious as to what everybody was dressed like. Did everybody go dressed like their teenage selves?
So we were in an area
because when you see Motley Crue, you're like, are you still wearing that same? They're wearing the same clothes as they were in the 80s.
This was the awkward thing. Most people were in our age group and they were dressed normal. Younger kids that came to see Duran Duran were dressed. The kids were dressed up in goth stuff, like a lot of the black. I'm like, how is that a goth kind of band?
It's not a goth thing. But for some reason, kids in this generation think listening to classic rock is like hard.
Oh,
or like,
and that's not even. I wouldn't even say it's classic rock.
Listen, I wouldn't call Duran Duran hard.
100%. If you listen to Hungry Like the Wolf, there's nothing hard really about it.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it's something with this.
Can I tell you a really embarrassing story? Going to a concert the very first concert that my parents let me stay out overnight for. The most popular kid in school, in my class, anyways. No, I wouldn't say popular, but one of those dudes that would you ever go to high school, the guy who disappeared for 2 weeks?
Yeah.
And he would come back, and it was like he had a mom and dad, but you could always go to his house, and they were never there,
Yes,
and you were like, what is happening, right? He was mysterious. He never really told you what his life. So this dude asked me, he was like, hey, do you want to wait out overnight for me for tickets for this concert? And I was 15. I was like, yeah, maybe 16. I was like, yeah, I definitely want to do that. This kid's name is Owen Yard. I'm like, I definitely want to do this, Owen Yard.
Did he pay you for it?
No, he was like, with him. He was like, ask your mom and dad if we can wait out overnight. And that seemed like a real cool thing to do, right?
Yeah, when you're 15.
And so it was at UMass. That's where I grew up in Amherst, Mass. And so we go, and we're 16, and we're standing in line, and there were these 2 sophomores in college, these girls standing in line behind us. And it's when you're 16, a sophomore in college is a grown up.
Yeah,
that's a grown person.
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
There's no doubt.
That's a real woman.
Even though she's probably 20 maybe.
Doesn't matter. She's not a teenager.
She's a grown person. Mm-hmm. And so we're in line all night and talking. And my buddy Owen Yard was like, "Hey, that girl Stacy, she was really vibing. You know, she was flirting with you. I was like, no way. He was like, you should make sure you show up dressed to impress to this concert. So I show up in my parachute pants. Did you have parachute pants growing up?
No, I was too fat for parachute pants. I actually wore a parachute.
An actual parachute, yeah. But I had the dark gray one with the red, and then I had a sleeveless shirt with a lot of zippers on it that didn't do anything.
Sure.
Mullet,
Right.
thick silver chain.
You're ready to go.
Dude, yeah, I'm ready. This is my vagina outfit, right? So I show up and by the way, the concert, I'd never heard of him, but you'll know who this is. Paul Young.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So I'm up front, man. I'm dancing around.
You waited outside all night for Paul Young tickets?
Let's skip past that part.
Only two in line.
There were only like 12 of us in line, yeah. So, but it was just the idea of waiting in line, right? And so I'm dancing around. I didn't really know this dude's music, but and I feel these two hands go into my pocket. Yeah. And it's the girl Stacy.
The woman.
And she's like, do you mind if I do this? And I was like, no. And I, at 16, that lasts however long, 2.5, 3 seconds. And I finished in my pants. Now, I had no real experience sexually, and I had never done that in my pants before.
Right.
I didn't know it would leave a mark, especially on the shiny parachute pants. So I'm dancing around, and I have like the state of Texas right shape, and the guitar player is walking around.
No way.
And because I'm right up front, dude, walking around, and the shiny pants and the black lights. He's walking around, rocking around, and he looks down at my pants, and I just see him go. And he laughed, and I'm like, oh, I'm vibing with a guitar player, you know what I mean? And so he walks over, and I see him talk to the bass player and kind of point to me.
Right. The
bass player walks over, and he shrugs his shoulder like, I don't know what I'm looking at. And the guitar player pointed his guitar
at your map.
Yeah. And they one by one, every band member came over. And at first I thought, I'm about to go on tour with Paul Young.
Yeah, they love you. Yeah. Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, it was embarrassing. And then, but Owen Yard wouldn't let me leave. I was like, dude, we got to get out of here.
You earned it now.
That's exactly what he said to me. He goes, you earned that, dude. We're sticking around. I got a Facebook message maybe 4 years ago from a woman. That would have been amazing. From a woman she said, is this the Josh that I molested at a Paul Young concert?
Oh my God, are you serious?
Yeah.
Do you realize one day she's watching the Chelsea show and you're on it, and she turns to her friend and she says, you're not going to believe this story. Oh my God. That's hilarious.
Yeah, man. It was a real quick lesson into got it. Either wear a longer shirt or some shiny, not so shiny pants. But I was like, is this what a grown-up is like? This is what grown-ups do? No wonder they go out all the time.
Yeah, right? By the way, Joe and I at Duran Duran did not do that to each other. Yeah.
Who would have been the person coming around from behind? That's
Joe was a behind guy, for sure. No offense, Joe. Yeah. That is very funny. But also, you two being out together should be a good sign to you what a loyal guy you are to your wife. Because nobody's worse of a C blocker than having your kid around.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the whole thing, man. I've lived a pretty boring life on the road.
Yeah.
I like to get high and I don't know if you know this, but on my Friday night late shows.
Can you say this?
Yeah, I can say it. I take mushrooms.
Drugs good, sex bad.
Yeah,
cool.
I take mushrooms before my Friday night late show.
Okay.
And
he goes on stage.
Yeah.
Now, do you take anything?
I'm into drugs, but I don't take anything before I go on stage.
I'm not a drug guy at all, but I was at Bert Kreischer's house last year, and he had a candy bar that had mushrooms in it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And he goes, take this. And I go, no, I've never taken mushrooms. And he's like, trust me, you will love it.
Yeah.
And he goes, take 3 squares. And he goes, no, take 1. And he was making me nervous. So I took it and I stared at it for like a year. And then the other day, for some reason, I was like, tonight, I'm taking this. So I took it.
The whole thing?
No. Okay. 1 square. I took it and I went upstairs and I went to bed. And I watched TV. I was watching TV. And nothing really happened. I'm always comfortable and enjoying bed. So I'm like, I can't tell if this is mushrooms or if this is just me being me.
Right.
So then I went to sleep. And then I woke up the next morning, felt great and all that. And I went, something happened. And I remembered having a conversation with my son because he was out and he usually comes home around 2, but I like to check on him before I go to bed.
Yeah.
And I call him. I go, did I call you last night? He goes, yeah, I was out. And he goes, I go, what did I say? And you were like, nothing. You were just checking in. And I go, but I don't understand. I fell asleep and then at some point woke up in the middle of the night, called him and have no recollection of it. I just remember having a conversation with him.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I was like, and then I had to tell my son, and I was like, did I say anything weird? He goes, no. I go, because I was totally on mushrooms.
Yeah, I think you need to do 2 squares next time.
Yeah.
I will say though, however, the best sleep ever is after a mushroom trip.
Yeah, I agree.
Really?
I agree.
Oh my God. Because you're so mentally and physically exhausted after if you decide to do it a little more. You're physically and just mentally exhausted from what you saw and what you did and how much fun you have because your energy is so high for that time period.
Yeah.
And then that come down is like you're just wiped out.
He won't do mushrooms with me.
Why?
You won't smoke a joint with me.
Yeah, I don't know why.
What a terrible father.
I just feel like it's such a crazy line. Like,
Sorry.
crap face. I guess I could do that. Or like messed up. We won't do any of that. So he feels like smoking is the same thing, right? But if he won't get messed up with me, but he's like, but I'll do mushrooms with you.
Yeah, but that seems like a bonding experience.
I just feel like it's a weird line for you. That it's
You've done mushrooms.
Oh,
I mean,
come on.
Yesterday.
if I'm looking around, I'm like, this guy has some on him.
I was going to say, he has them in his pocket currently.
The wizard.
Or in that hoodie
Do you remember the Freedom Rock commercial? Is that Freedom Rock? Well, turn it up.
Freedom Rock. I don't quite understand the difference, but I feel like I don't want to do drugs with my kid either. He smokes, and I'm sure he's done mushrooms because my mom passed away a couple weeks ago, and I said to my son, I said to my mom, I go, I should take those mushrooms before we go to the funeral. And he goes, no. And I go, what? And he goes, don't do that. And I went, no. And he goes, no. And I was like, I'm getting these mushroom directions from my 16-year-old son. And I go, this can't be.
I would have told you yes.
Yeah.
What an emotional, you would have connected to your mom in a way.
Yeah. I'm so glad my son said no. That would have been so weird.
Yeah, people would have been like, Mike is really talking to his mom?
Dude, that would be so awkward.
My thing is this. I just feel like it's a slippery slope when you start smoking and drinking with your kid, no matter how old they are.
I agree.
It's a slippery slope for me. And so but the mushrooms, not like we're going to do it every weekend, but what a crazy bonding experience. What a great story. I'm really just looking for a new story on stage.
Yeah.
Is it hard for you to maintain I find I don't smoke pot, but every once in a while I'll take an edible or something.
Yeah.
But I have a hard time doing that because the next day, if I take it at night and sleep it off 8 hours or come here the next day, I lose my train of thought a lot quicker.
I took edibles on the flight here.
Yeah, but when you go on stage though on mushrooms, is it I don't know, I'm not a mushroom guy, so I don't really know.
Let me answer that.
Are you worried it would ruin?
I'm having a good time.
Everybody's booing. You go, I killed. That was great.
Here's the thing, man. I've done this so many times.
Right.
And I really, at this point in my life, feel really good about what I do on stage.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure I walk down every path before I decide not to do this. And so I'm not going to do it forever.
Right.
But if people are interested, the Friday night late shows are a little off the rails.
Okay.
But listen,
in what form is your mushrooms?
A mushroom form.
Oh, in the raw form.
Yeah.
If he told me on a Saturday morning, dude, you probably should stop.
Right.
I would stop.
Yeah.
But we haven't had one of those shows yet.
Yeah, well, for me, he loses track of time really easily. So usually he's only supposed to be up there for 75 to 80 minutes.
Right.
And there's sometimes he's up there for a full 120.
Oh, man. They give you the light. Staff wants to go home.
When they turn on the light, I'm like, that looks cool.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a 2-hour show all the way around.
Right.
Sometimes he's up there by himself for almost 2 hours.
Oof.
So we were in Michigan the other week, and they turned the AC off on him while he was on stage.
To get him out of there?
To get him off. They were like, yo, get off stage. But the best part about these shows
But wait a second, dude. You make it sound like there's nobody leaving.
That's what I was getting to.
Right.
It's not that the audience is. Yeah.
No, I was real good friends with Ralphie May, and Ralphie would go on the show for 2 hours, and he'd be like, "I'm going on for 2 hours tonight. I'm feeling good," and I'm like, "All right, go."
Ralphie was his babysitter.
One of my babysitters. Yeah.
Shut up.
Ralphie May and Joey Coco Diaz are my babysitters.
No wonder why you're doing money.
Yeah.
Those guys so
they raised me. Those guys.
But Ralphie would do that, and I'm like, what an amazing talent. This guy could just go up there and just riff and go. And I look around the room, the audience level, and I look at the staff, and they're like, God damn it, wrap it up. We want to go home.
Yeah.
I feel you now.
I will say, though, I'm particularly good to the staff. Not only does my crowd tip, but if I keep them late, I throw money in the pot.
Oh, that's good.
So listen, man. I've waited a lot of tables, so I totally get it. Ralphie and Joey. So, okay, I'll give you a couple of good. One Ralphie story, one Joe story. Okay, Ralphie story first. We were at his place on Curson, Gardner. I'm sorry, it was right. He lived right behind a place called El Compadre.
I know what you're talking about. Okay. Yeah.
And so we're at his place. Ralphie made money before any of us and was an incredibly generous dude across the board to all his friends.
He was the nicest.
By the way, he and Bert kind of share that vibe of I'm bringing all of us together.
Except Bert and I have been friends longer and are closer, and Bert never bought me an $8,000 watch like Ralphie did.
I'm telling you.
And Bert makes more money.
Ralphie's generosity was
unbelievable.
Unmatched. But Bert is so good to the people he travels with. And so we which Ralphie story do you want to tell?
I think I know which one you're going to tell.
We'll tell it. So he goes, Josh Wolf, always first and last name.
Yep.
Him and Joe Diaz always called me first and last name. Josh Wolf, come with me. We're going to Jack in the Box. And I go, okay. So we get into his 4Runner at the time. We drive over to Jack in the Box, and he orders all this stuff for everybody who's in the building. And then he goes, can you put this order in a separate bag? And he orders something else. And I go, what's that? He goes, that's my drive back food. So he had his food that he was going to eat with everybody else. And his food that he was going to eat on the way from Jack in the Box back to the house.
That's funny.
And then he goes, open the glove box. And I opened the glove box. He had all of his condiments. He had a built-in condiment rack in the glove box.
God bless him.
He was like, bring me that. And I go, Ralphie, he goes, they don't have good condiments at Jack in the Box. I'm so sorry, dude.
Right.
Built into that thing. Okay. So he also, man, you know how he got those, he got the operations for his stomach. So he invites me and Joe Diaz to Dan Tana's on Santa Monica. He loved eating at that place.
Yeah, I love it.
And we walk in, and he's sitting at a huge round table by himself. The table is covered with food. He's just had whichever staple or one of the operations.
Yeah.
And Joey and I sit down, and he goes, dig in. And we just start eating. And I go, Ralphie, what are you going to do with all this food? And I go, didn't you just have that operation? He goes, yep. I go, how are you going to eat all this food? He goes, my set is until 9 o'clock tonight. He goes, I'm not going to eat less. I'm just going to eat slow.
Oh, my God.
Joe Diaz was his babysitter. And I have 2 other kids. So
now, was the rest of the world unavailable to watch your kids?
No, it was this reason really, and these 2 reasons only. One, we didn't grow up with a lot of money.
Yeah.
Zero money.
So not only is Joe Diaz going to do it for free, but Joe Diaz cares about me and my brother and my sister more than your $10 an hour babysitter.
And that was it.
Right.
Joe Diaz would put his life on the line for the 3 of us for free at any point in time.
I believe
and there is zero chance a $10 an hour babysitter would do that.
Yeah,
Right.
and Joey worked for Turkey Burgers. He was like, you make me a turkey burger, I will come to a turkey burger with some black beans. And so one day I come home, and what would happen is I'd go do my set, and I'd come back, and then he'd go do his set.
Right.
And he, at the time, he's way bigger than he is now. And he never wore underwear. And one day...
It's a sad fact for you to know.
Kids loved him. He was unorthodox, but they absolutely loved him. So one day, I walk in, and he goes, okay, guys, it's time to clean up. And he bends over to help pick up some toys, and my daughter ripped hair out of his butt crack. And she goes, how many? And he goes, I felt like 5 that time. I go, that time? I goes, this is a game we play a lot? And he goes, yeah, she loves that game. I go, I don't like it at all. Can you find a different game to play? They had a good...
He's a sweet guy.
Great dude, man. I've known him since before he was born.
Yeah. I want to say that Ralphie said to me, I mean, he said this a lot, but I specifically think he said it about you when he was like, I having Josh Wolf on, got a big old hog on him. Ask about it. I don't want to ask about it. I got a big old hog on him. Dude, I missed that guy. He was so much
Such
fun.
a good dude.
Yeah.
You know what? The last time I saw him, I don't know if I've ever told this story. The last time I saw him, we were in Nashville, dude. And so we're at this bar down on Broadway at a honky tonk. This is right when I guess Nashville was starting to become what it is now.
Right.
And he's separated from Lana, and he's got this little girl on his lap. And I'm talking to another comic, and Ralphie's there to my left, and I turn my back, and a couple minutes in, we're at it's a club, but I feel like a rumble behind me. And I turn, and Ralph has fallen off the stool, and he's laying on his back. And he goes, Josh Wolf, help me up. I go, help you up? And he goes, you go to the gym? I go, yeah, but to jump on the treadmill, not to carry it. Like I can't. And then we look down, and we just see these 2 little feet sticking out from under him. Like the Wizard of Oz, dude. Like the Wizard of Oz. And her little feet are just wiggling. I go, oh, everybody, we got to get this little girl out. So we try to pick Ralphie up, but and he's trying to get up, but I don't know how to put this, and I mean this all respect, and I love Ralph, but he was soupy. When he tried to pick him up, he kind of fell through your fingers, you know? And so we're trying to pick him up, right? And somebody goes, rock him! So we start to rock him. And the goal is just to lift him up far enough so we can get her out from under.
Oh, my God.
We rock him up. Somebody yanks her feet out from under. Dude, when she came out from under this Ralphie, this is the noise she made. And I asked her, we were sitting at the bar, she had this bewildered look on her face afterwards. So I'm sitting at the bar with her, and I go, tell me something. What was it like under there? She goes, dark and hot.
Poor kid saw her whole life flash before her eyes.
Yeah.
She didn't think she was making out of it.
No,
She didn't think she was making out.
No.
Holy cow, that's great.
Yeah.
Who is here? Listen, I have to tell you, that's one of the funniest visuals I've ever.
It was amazing.
If I could see that, that's so funny. This is Josh Wolf and his son Jacob. Now, Jacob, you do stand up, or you just kind of compliment?
No, yeah,
each
I
other?
open for him.
Oh,
now.
you do? Huh?
Yeah. Only a couple months in. My first time by myself on stage was in January.
How you feeling about it? Comfortable?
Yeah, I'm having a whole bunch of fun.
You have a tremendous sense of comfortability, like being here and doing all this.
Yeah,
that's
I
great.
appreciate it. It's definitely something I've gathered from him. But we've been doing some stuff on stage for the last 3 years, so I've started to really figure out.
Tell him what we do on stage.
I open for him, and then he comes out, and then him and I do a Q&A on stage. So we'll obviously, like you said, a lot of people know me from his jokes and from anything he's posted online. So we'll go on stage, and people will ask us questions, and then him and I will just kind of stand up there and riff on it for
That's fun.
20 minutes.
If people feel like they know him, right? Because I've had his, personal life on blast since he was 15.
Yeah.
And then, so what he does is he opens the show in a really smart way. He says, he's been telling embarrassing stories about me for 10 years. Do you want to hear a couple about him that nobody knows?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
It's a great way to open the show. And that way also, it's a great way to jump into stand-up because he doesn't have to remember jokes.
Right.
He can just tell stories.
And riff off of that.
And then the Q&A, man, is like, there are tons of clips of us online together, but the Q&A stuff has been
good.
so, and somebody, like, the questions range from jokes about us, but like somebody asked in Miami 2 weeks ago, do you eat, can I say that?
No, I have a feeling.
But on the backside.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think we understand.
And so,
Who asked you or him?
both of us.
Both of
Okay.
us.
What a weird question to ask a father-son combo.
What a weird answer to have to answer in front of your son.
Yeah, yeah.
I've heard way worse things.
Yeah,
Yeah, but when you hear it, it's about your mother. which is what really is awkward about it.
Yeah, but
That's why I started to laugh and couldn't wait to answer the question.
Yes.
But that kind of stuff,
What was the
man.
answer, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Because that speaks volumes about your mother now.
Well, I didn't get to answer it on stage, so I'll put my answer for what I was going to say then. Like father, like son.
Yeah,
So,
bravo.
That's
I think we're all on the same page.
Yeah, But look, also, like, if I got to be honest, I'm not doing it for me.
No, well, a little bit.
Yes and no, but like, it's my first choice.
Yeah. Well, it depends on who it is.
Yeah, I guess that's right.
And also,
J-Lo's getting it.
Depends on who's showered the most recently. I think, in all honesty.
Yeah, but I would.
J-Lo's getting it. That waitress from Topeka is not getting it.
Yeah, I
there's
will
a
tell
big
you.
difference.
I have friends of mine who are straight up. They'll meet a girl at a bar. I'm like, yeah, that's where you gotta. I need to know your shower schedule.
Yeah.
I need to understand what you eat.
Yeah.
Like I need to know a little bit about you. This is not a stranger.
I don't want to find out all those things after. I need to know beforehand.
Yeah. Because it's hard to be like, hey, you know what? I'm not gonna make it down there.
Right.
Yeah.
I wish to God, I keep trying to explain to my son, I've said to him, listen to me, the happiest day of my life is when you were born. Nothing makes me happier than being a father. Your father is the greatest thing. You also ruined my life. I can't have fun anymore. I had to work. I can't stay away for weeks at a time. You've ruined all the fun in my life.
Yeah.
Don't do that to yourself. Like I try to convince him now, save it have it when you're in your 30s like I did, so it's okay. It's time to do it. Because no kid wants to be 26 and lose all that stuff.
I was 25.
Yeah. 25 is... my mother was 17. She got screwed. But, literally.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like, if you can... I'm just trying to convince my son at 17 you don't want to be that kid to have a baby.
Yeah, no, you don't. And I will tell you, here's the benefits of 25, is you do miss those years, but I wouldn't trade having energy for the kids. But even more importantly, dude, is... I'm still young enough now to enjoy this age.
Yes.
This is something that a lot of people don't get, and you're doing it too.
Yes.
This is where you're young enough where you're like, we can still have some fun together.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so that part, I wouldn't trade at all. This chapter where we're podcasting together and hopping on stage together is amazing.
That must be fun.
He admits things like I hear. He was like, did I ever tell you about that time when I walked in on you and Mom? I'm like, what?
It's a good way to find out.
Yeah. But that kind of stuff, dude, the show we're doing now, not only is his set good, not only am I at a point now where I feel so good on stage, man. I feel so finally locked into who I am and what I do. But then after I stand up, it's a whole, you get the Q&A with he and I, and then I'm still on guitar.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. He plays guitar, yeah.
And so, it's like a full show.
Hey, you're doing all your fun stuff. You're like, I got my kid, I got my mushrooms, I got my guitar.
This is it, man. I'm having more fun. If you ever seen me before, I'm having more fun than I ever have. And this is that chapter for me.
I can't imagine that because I remember the first couple of times you've been on the show, I'm like, this guy's fun. This guy knows what he's doing. So
I absolutely love it. And I will tell you that I could not wait to come on the show. It's been a minute since I've seen you, but I always have a great time on this show, dude.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. Show's over. Listen, we've talked so long. Josh and Jacob will be at Side Splitters Friday, 7:30 and 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock, the Mushroom Show. And then Saturday, 7 and 10 o'clock. You can go to sidesplitterscomedy.com or 960-1197.
And I give away my guitar at the Saturday Late Show if you want to come by.
You do? So
every
you pick up a new one in each town?
Every Saturday, I buy one and I give it away every Saturday.
Did you buy one yet here?
No, I don't know where to go.
You got to be sponsored.
Yeah.
You got to be sponsored.
Yeah, you know what? We had a deal with Gibson, but it...
I bet you we can get you a deal with Dean Guitars.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
Great seeing you. Great meeting you, buddy.
You as well, man. Thank you for having me.
We're done. Check us out on Instagram at the Mike Calta Show. Also, I don't know about you guys. You're on Thread. We're on Thread now.
I just joined yesterday.
Everybody's got to join.
Seems exactly like Twitter.
Oh, you might be called as a witness in the upcoming lawsuit. We'll see you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend. Goodbye.